All right. So, what would you ladies say if I told you there was a witch in Connecticut who just missed going on trial and being killed as part of the witch craze and trials of old New England?
I would say good for her.
Right?
I would say that's one lucky bitch.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Or really good at what she does. Either way.
Yes. Maybe real witch, question mark?
Maybe. And we will get to it as we go through with my story tonight. I'm Jo, your tour guide for this episode, and this is Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre. And tonight I will be telling my co-hosts, Amber and Amy, all about Hannah Cranna, the Witch of Monroe, Connecticut. Reminder that you can find content warnings for this episode in the description below. All right, so.
I gotta say, Hannah Cranna is such a,
Right?
That's such a good witch.
Amazing.
I'm sorry. I know you're going to start. I just needed to get that out before we dove in. I just love it.
I think you're going to love it.
It's a mix between
amazing.
As we go over
very witchy, kind of cranky old lady. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
So, we're first going to start with just a quick review of the Connecticut witch trials, also known as the Hartford witch trials, which were a series of trials that took place between 1647 and 1663. You guys can go to the first image. And this really just shows like an image of theoretically a newspaper article from around those times, sort of reviewing these witch trials. There's some interesting images there. Like one of them looks like the chimney from the Johnny Depp Sweeney Todd movie. And that's what drew me in.
Oh, Sweeney Todd or Sleepy Hollow?
Sleepy Hollow.
I think you have the wrong one.
Yes. I love both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Sleepy Hollow.
They're both good, yes. I was thinking about Sleepy Hollow recently.
Yes.
You need both.
Oh my god, this totally gets me in the mood. I was just going to say, I just saw it on my streaming, and I was like, I gotta watch that. That's one of my favorites.
Yes. Super, super into spooky time. It's technically only September for us, and it's still 99 degrees out for the high today, but I'm fucking watching Halloween movies. God damn it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, we're finally just now below triple digits, so
we're only at double digits, guys.
It's a Halloween miracle. Yeah.
Oy. Lord. Anyway, getting back on topic, since we derail so easily here.
That's the other title of our podcast, actually, was Getting Back on Topic.
Didn't have quite the same ring as Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre, but, you know, it could have worked for us.
We were pretty accurate.
Yeah. So the Connecticut or Hartford witch trials were actually the first large-scale witch trials in the American colonies, occurring nearly 30 years before the Salem witch trials. And a John M. Taylor, I believe he was a historian, lists a total of 37 cases, 11 of which resulted in executions. One of them being the execution of Alce Young of Windsor in the spring of 1647, which was sort of the beginning of this witch panic in the area, which also, just a little note, I didn't put it in my notes, but I do want to say it for the record, in doing a little more research on her. She apparently was set to like inherit a lot of money as one of the few last living relatives of this guy in town. And it's a possibility that the people that accused her of witchcraft just didn't want her as the next in line to get that money instead of them. Because, you know, fucking dudes. I'm a guy.
Money.
I should get it. Yeah. You're a woman. What are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
Fucking assholes. But she was the beginning of this sort of witch
She used her witchcraft to steal my inheritance.
Yeah.
And so she was the first, and then the witch trials, again, did not come to an end until 1670 with the release of a Catherine Harrison, who was not executed. Again, 37 cases in total, only 11 of them ended with execution, so not quite as hectic as the Salem witch trials, I would say, but did last a decent amount of time in comparison and came before them. There is some difficulty with recounting the trials, though, as there's a lack of documentation in all aspects, from like the accusations to the executions. Like the trials, we don't have a lot of documentation, we don't have a lot of record, so there's not a huge amount to go off of. And on October...
Shocker. They were doing shady stuff and wanted to keep it secret.
He swept it right under the rug, and we're like,
yeah, like, never happened.
We just wanted some extra inheritance. Don't bother with us.
Exactly. Until October 6th of 2013, descendants of those that were executed petitioned the Connecticut government to pardon the victims. They weren't actually pardoned until 2023, but there has been some recent movement on that, similar with the Salem witch trials, where they were like, yeah, there really wasn't any sort of reason behind this. They were probably good people that just didn't fit into society, or that other people had a fucking grudge against for whatever reason. So we're gonna pardon them posthumously. Thank you, but it shouldn't have taken until 2023.
Good for,
I mean, yeah.
Little too little, a lot too late, so.
And again, along with the Salem witchcraft trials, despite speculation, there was actually no one burned at the stake as part of their executions. I believe they were mostly hangings for their executions. So, still don't know where that came in with all of that hullabaloo people talk about and you see in movies with burning witches at the stake, which would be really fucking messy if you did, guys. I don't know if you've ever looked into, like, what it takes to burn a body, but it's really intense heat. And, like, the fat from the body ends up getting vaporized and going through the air like a sort of fog, and it's just gross. So, good thing they didn't do that, I guess.
And it smells. Like, disgusting. Who wants, like, could you imagine the smell?
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, that would be, like somebody's like passing through town. It's like, what's going on here? It's like, don't worry, that's just witches we're burning. Like,
like in the middle of town as you're trying to like prepare dinner and whatnot. That would not be pleasant.
Oh God. Especially like that's always, it must have come from somebody like drawing a picture. Like it always starts with like somebody recording it and they drew it down and everyone's like, well, that's fact for sure. But it's like, why would you burn anybody unless you were desperate, I guess. Like if your goal is just to kill them, like a hanging's much easier.
Hanging,
I guess if you get into like
shooting,
certain folk beliefs or whatever, if maybe maybe certain folk beliefs are like, we have to burn them so their spirits don't stick around, or like I could see something like that, but even then you'd imagine like most of that stuff kicks in after death, not
after the fact,
during death.
Yeah, so I don't know where people got that idea from, but didn't happen. So good for them. So that is just a quick little tidbit on.
Look at you educating everybody.
Yes, on the first witch trials in the American colonies. Wasn't actually Salem; it was in Connecticut. But so this brings us back to Hannah Cranna, and where did she go into all of this? Well, if you want to go to your next images, we are actually going to start with some publications about Hannah Cranna. These were all made in the Newton Bee, which published the articles about Hannah Cranna in December of 1900 on the 7th, 14th, 21st, and then a special letter to the editor from a reader on the 28th. So what you guys are seeing there, one of them is the little Newton Bee logo for the paper. One of them, I just thought it was kind of funky looking, and I couldn't not include it, is a beehive from the Labor Day Parade in 1981 that they made.
It's a giant beehive.
And then
it totally is funny. There's the people like pushing it are like in bee costumes, which is so
dressed in bees. I know.
Love that. It totally looks like paper mache too, which is just so great.
I know. I love it.
But so the other two images are pulled from the actual like newspaper articles. The one in the middle there is just the sort of header that was put atop each of the article postings about Hannah Cranna from the 1900s. And then the other one is just this section of the letter to the editor from a reader that they posted a little while later. And I just thought it was funny because that one doesn't have like an actual header or anything. It's literally right underneath someone's obituary. Like, why?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You see that person's died.
Yep. Some guy named John.
They're so just funny. Like, we don't know what else to do with this.
We're just gonna stick it here.
Oh
The guy died
no.
in Monroe. She was the witch of Monroe. You know, it makes sense.
Yeah. We only have like this little editorial. We'll just like, it almost feels like somebody had like a sticky note on like the rough draft, and they're like, we got to find a
Yeah.
good spot for this, and it
Yeah.
went to like get printed, and they were like, oh, I guess we have to add this in here. So
Oh well.
it's like so non sequitur. It's hilarious.
But so, for Hannah Cranna, again, there were technically 4 articles, one of them being a letter to the editor about her, that were posted in 1900, which is quite a while after the witch trials. But these are essentially just some sort of recounting of stories about Hannah Cranna that they did at the time. My best guess is that it was probably published as like the old tradition of telling ghost stories and spooky tales actually around Christmas time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why they put them in there during December. That would be my best assumption. I don't know for certain because they don't actually say why they put them there at that time, but that's what I'm going off of. So we're going to start with information from the December 7th article. And they start off discussing witchcraft as like a lost art and talking about the witch trials of Salem, et cetera, before they get to Hannah Cranna. But then they start going over a bit about Hannah Cranna and her supposed life. So on the summit of Hevelin Hill, near the pretty village of Stepney, Connecticut, may be seen the old dismantled foundations of a house. The history of the old place is well known to the grandsires and grandames of the village. That is a quote. I thought it was the coolest way to put that in there. Nobody says that anymore. But few of the younger generation do not have any idea of the person who lived here, which is why they're writing the article. So it continues to perpetuate Hannah Cranna as a woman with powers of witchcraft known by all and feared by many. Nothing is stated as being known of her life as a younger girl or young woman. The earliest knowledge of her takes us back only about half a dozen years before she became known as an exponent of witchcraft. She was married and lived with her husband in the old house that afterward became so famous as the seat of so much that was weird, mysterious, and occult. And her husband, Silas Cranna, supposedly liked to drink, which annoyed Hannah. And she ushered in her initiation to witchcraft by supposedly murdering him.
Sick. All right.
So
All
here
right.
we go. So the article continues.
Nothing wrong with the little husband murder. I mean,
yeah.
We've all been there. We've all wanted to do it.
I was gonna say, don't cremate yourself too much there, Amy.
I blink twice if you're in danger.
Oh yeah, we've all done a little husband murder. It's fine.
Let's be honest.
There was no. I just love that.
One of those.
Like, girl jumped in with 2 feet. Like it was not a like, oh, let's test the waters. I'm gonna do like some spells first. It was like,
no.
Nope,
I need to murder my husband.
Should murder my husband for that.
So the article continues.
I need to show I'm serious right off the bat.
Yes, exactly. So the article continues that the natives were quite numerous at the time, and descendants of the old Pequot tribe saw her from a distance do the fatal deed. Her husband and herself were standing in the, and I do quote this, Indian Trail. Again, Native American is the term that is more commonly used now and more accepted now, but that is how they wrote it in the article. Just where it surmounts the very pinnacle of Hevelin Hill, and were ensnared in an altercation, supposedly. Suddenly, she seized him and dragged him toward the edge of the precipice, and though he struggled desperately, although possibly being drunk from his bucolic habits, was no match for his enraged wife as she forced him, writhing and screaming for help, to the edge and deliberately thrusting him over. So, reason for murdering him.
All right.
Still considered a mystery.
So...
Even if it was murder, if he was...
Because he was a drunk.
Yeah, if he was drunk and arguing with her, maybe she wasn't actually trying to murder him. Maybe she was just trying to defend herself. Or at least that's my thought process. Because, those stories are much more prevalent now of like, actually he was a drunk asshole who tried to kill her first. So maybe it's justified, But so it was
Yep.
October, nearly 5 months after this supposedly happened, before she was seen again. And at that time, she was seen by two men driving along the old White Hills Turnpike that ran past her house. And she was dressed in white flowing garments with disheveled hair in the swamp out back of her home. And during the following month, she was seen 2 or 3 more times, but always late at night before she disappeared, not to be seen for a while again. So she kind of became a bit of a recluse, according to this story. So that was in October. It was late the following spring when she reappeared and was now seen daily, but never, quote unquote, left her house, which, I mean, kind of, I guess, would depend on how close her house is to the rest of the village. But I didn't necessarily get the feeling that it was very close to other homes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But so she was seen daily now.
People just like wander in the woods trying to peek at her.
Well, maybe, because this is actually why she was seen daily, was that she never left her house other to venture in the nearby woods and swamp. So she would go out into the woods and the swamp and like collect herbs and shit. So that's supposedly why people saw her, was she was out doing that. And so this is where the tale begins, essentially, of Hannah Cranna being considered a witch. It was said that her cat Grimalkin supposedly had preternatural impulses and always accompanied her. Grimalkin, by the way, was considered a fat cat that was suspected to be the, and I quote, champion chicken embezzler in the region, though no one was ever able to catch him doing it. Your cat's eating all my chickens. Did you see him? Which also doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Exactly. Like, prove it. He was not considered her familiar, though. Her favorite animal was a Shanghai rooster named Boreas that was considered her familiar. So she's got a cat everyone says is killing all of the chickens, but she has a pet chicken herself.
Yeah.
And her cat's not killing that chicken.
And a chicken that lives alongside it.
Yeah. Like, that's fucking rude.
Oh, God.
And it was also...
Meanwhile, I mean, this is back when there's just, like, wolves everywhere.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I'm sure foxes and,
No, it was totally your
everything
that
you
follows
could imagine.
you everywhere, old lady.
Yeah. I'm just imagining this obese cat. Like, leave me alone, man. I'm just here living my life.
That's me every goddamn day. Just leave me the fuck alone, guys. So it was also said that her property was protected by her quote-unquote legion of bodyguards in the form of all species of snakes that slept and lived in her cellar until later, when her house burned down, another story we will get to, they changed their residence to the well on her property.
God damn.
And Hannah was also said to hold long meetings with the devil on Helvellyn Hill, supposedly where she murdered her husband, on a large flat rock on which it is claimed there is the imprint of a woman's foot and cloven hoof. It was also said that she was seen standing on the spot yelling curses at a passing train. So not only is there like a major roadway that supposedly goes by her house, but also a major railroad way. I would be fucking cranky too, okay? And lastly...
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. And so last bit of information before we get to some of the more specific tales. It said that she used this title of witch to her advantage, and she took it on with stride and used it to like get firewood and food from other people in the village, because she's a little old lady. She can't really do a huge amount of work herself. Her husband's dead. What else is she gonna do? And I admire that so much. Like, I will hex you if you do not cut my firewood, young man.
I was just gonna say, she might have... Yeah, she might have become my hero right now. Like, a hex on you! Hex on you if you don't give me that loaf of bread that looks really good.
I love too, like, I just love the image of her standing out on the hill, like, yelling shit at a train passing by. Like, no wonder they think she's crazy.
She is
And it says she likes to come out at night. So I'm like, if that were me yelling at the train, like, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to sleep.
Yep. Absolutely. That would be me. 100%.
Yep.
So you guys can go to the next 100%. Set of images.
And I love to, I'm like putting it together and stuff like that. And it's like, we're talking about maybe she defended herself, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if they're old and her husband's a drunk, maybe his fucking liver just failed. Like,
who fucking knows?
Maybe this shit just happened. Like, why are we accusing this old woman of being a witch just because she's, I guess just because she's old. They're like,
son of a bitch.
Everybody dies young, lady. Like, you're doing something funky if you're not dead yet.
And I mean, she took it on in stride. She used it to her advantage. So, okay. So you guys can go to your next set of images. So I found a couple of images that are used in like other web pages of tellings of Hannah Cranna's story. I don't think they're necessarily made to represent Hannah Cranna specifically, but just some cool old-timey witch photos. There's also a photo of a Shanghai rooster, just so we can see what that's like. Because again, this rooster was like her pride and joy. It was super pretty, according to everybody who saw it. Like, this was supposedly her familiar. Makes sense. It's a really dark colored rooster with really pretty, like, iridescent sort of coloring to it.
It's gorgeous. Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
And then I also included...
so those of you who don't know, because I did not know what a Shanghai rooster is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just very colorful. It's like what you picture picture a cartoon rooster, like an animated rooster.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, like the orange neck, the blue belly, the like peacock looking tail feathers.
Yeah,
like,
gorgeous.
So just so you know, just so you can paint that visual image.
And then I also Googled Grimalkin just to see what comes up. And believe it or not, I think it's homebrewed, but someone has made a D&D character race that is like a cat person called Grimalkin.
Hell yeah.
I love it. I love
that.
These
have to be little like cat mages or something. Yeah. Because that is perfect.
It is so cute. It's like a Puss in Boots. He's like all got his little clothing on and his tall like leather boots, and he's like a little swashbuckler cat.
Yes.
Adorable.
I love this.
There's also, I didn't include an image of it because it wasn't as cute, but there's also supposedly like some sort of monster called Grimalkin, I think in Final Fantasy. Some sort of giant, like, it didn't look so much like a cat creature, but it came up when I searched for it, so maybe it's based off of this too. Who knows? But I also think that's just a really cool name for it.
Yeah, maybe someone from the area.
Yeah. Someone at some point
I love it.
Heard the story and decided, I like the name Grimalkin. It sounds like something cool and fantasy-like. We're just going to use that everywhere. And I do agree. It does sound really cool and fantasy-like, so... So now we're going to get into some of the... Sorry, you were like super delayed there, Amy. You just came in with, yeah, for sure, like 2 seconds ago. Internet.
Yes.
Anyway, so now we're going to get into some of the actual like tales of her showing her witchy power. The first one is said to have been shortly after like she reappeared and was seen wandering around the woods all the time. A farmer's cattle got into her garden. He was a neighbor of hers, and his cattle damaged her flowers, and she was apparently really, really fond of her flowers. And the neighbor laughed at her when she scolded him, as I would as well. You know, growing flowers takes time and effort and energy. Good God, that's fucking rude. Like, I get you can't control your cows with every step they take, but you could be a little nicer about it. And instead he laughed at her. He's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But so in doing so, he angered her. Cool. And I quote from the article, with strangely flashing eyes and in a voice tense in its passionate vindictiveness, she cried with a wretched, menacing arm, "My curse upon you and my curse upon your crop." Then she turned and left. And the next morning, every potato crop in his field lay.
First of all, good for her. Second of all, I need to figure out how to channel that energy in Teams calls. I've decided.
100%.
I feel like
curse upon you.
I feel like my new sign off when somebody pisses me off at work is a curse upon you, and then I just leave the meeting and let them figure out why that is. And like honestly, even better if
I love
something
it.
does go a little off in their day, because then they won't mess with me anymore.
Yes.
So
Yes. And I feel that she was especially
But
right.
also, she seems pretty smart. So
Sorry, continue, Amy.
she seems pretty smart. So I feel like after she gave her curse, she would have went out that night and poisoned his fucking potatoes. Because she seems smart.
you didn't have to poison that shit. Just throw a shit ton of salt on the earth.
Yeah.
Just like literally salt the earth and then I'll teach you, Sonny.
Yeah.
But no.
Reasons why.
And that's true magic. You gotta just gotta manifest that shit for yourself.
Yeah, you gotta set it up.
Whatever tools you have at your disposal. Including salt, sometimes arsenic, either way.
Yeah, whatever works. Whatever you got laying around. So again, I still feel that she was very valid.
Check the old
this.
pantries.
Yes. She was very valid in this. He messed with her garden. He laughed at her. He wasn't very nice about it. She killed his crops. But later, that man came to her and apologized for his rudeness and offered to recompense her for the damage done by his cattle. And the following year, he planted a field of corn instead of potatoes, and was one day passing by her house when she stopped him and said, "You will have a fine crop of corn this year. Go to the lot at 10 o'clock tonight and you will see." And so, out of curiosity, because supposedly this fucking woman killed all of my potato plants, I gotta see what happens to my corn plants. He went out there that night at 10 o'clock. And he, as the story goes, saw his stalks of corn growing tall right before his eyes, about 18 to 20 inches taller, specified in the article. And they had matured 8 to 10 large, perfect ears of corn as well. And then, out of the mist, he saw Hannah Cranna appear, who then said, "Always remember that others do to me, even so do I to them. Good for good, evil for evil," and cackled away as she disappeared into the mist. So,
first of all, love this for her. Also, I love that she's like establishing herself as like the Baba Yaga of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Like I am neither good nor evil. Like I'm just reflecting what bullshit you throw at me.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
And also,
like,
I love how ballsy she is. Like, there are literal witch trials going on, and she's like, "I'm not hiding. I'm not hiding at all.
Yeah,
you guys will have good things happen to you if you're not assholes."
She loved using this idea of being a witch against people to get what she wanted and get them to be nice. I think that that's totally validated. I'd fucking do the same thing. I really now just want to move to a small town
100%.
on the East Coast,
especially
and
back
just be
then.
the witchy old lady. I think that'd be fantastic.
Hell yeah.
You gotta get you an obese cat first.
That's easy. We can do that on the way to Connecticut.
Yeah.
Like, that's not hard.
So long as it could put up with Kevin.
Actually, I have a cat already. Joe's got to get the rooster.
Yeah, there we go. I could definitely do chickens. I would love to do chickens. Get me some fresh eggs, man.
I could see you as a chicken lady.
Get me an egg apron. So that's
hell yeah.
Yes, egg apron all the way. But so that's one of the first stories of her exhibition of her powers. The next story says that two men, a Theodore Beach and an Isaac Nichols, came down the road with an ox load of hay from Lower Stepney, and Hannah Cranna was in her garden gathering a bouquet of tiger lilies. Again, this woman fucking loved her flowers. And tiger lilies, I feel, weren't common for that time, so I think she definitely should have been pissed off at that other guy for his cows ruining her flowers.
Yeah, for real.
So these two men are passing by as she's gathering some tiger lilies, and they stopped their ox, and one of them called out, "Hello, old witch, canst thou give us an exhibition of thy boasted power?" To which she replied, "Before you pass yonder tree, you shall have evidence of that which you so ironically ask." And then she disappeared inside her house. Of course, as men were wont to do at the time, and some of them still do because guys can be assholes, they laughed at her, and they tried to start their ox forward again, supposedly downhill. But the ox were now supposedly unable to move the load of hay, even downhill. So trying to budge the cart, they finally got it to move, and it lurched forward, but one wheel got caught in a gutter and overturned the entire hayload, freeing the oxen, who then dragged one of the men with them for a short distance. And once he was freed, they both looked back at Hannah's house with terror and took off down the road as they heard a blood-chilling chuckle in the air. And yeah.
Oh my God.
She's the best.
I do too. I love her.
I think she's the main character of season 2. I think we had a highlight main character in season 1, and I think we found season 2.
Yes, I just want to make
Hannah Cranna.
like t-shirts of her, and like I love her.
Hell yeah. Maybe I shouldn't, but it's too late. I already do.
You know what? I approve. So the next day, one of the ox was discovered peacefully grazing, but the other was found dead. The splintered end of a bow piercing his chest, and a bow, if I remember correctly, like you have the harnesses and the reins that are attached, and then below them, sort of in between them, is like a T-shaped wooden thing to help them pull the cart. I think that's what they're talking about with the bow that pierced the ox and killed it. So one ox was fine, one was not. And the cart supposedly was never fully removed. And the only thing ever recovered from that wreck was a gallon demijohn bottle, half full of some kind of fluid, that was found weeks later beneath the hay. Now, that could just be like it rained and there was decomposition of this hay material, but we don't know any more about it. Who knows? Maybe it was like some leftover gooey, gross, blackish liquid that smelled of fucking brimstone or shit. I don't know. Who knows? But that's all we were given.
Could be potions, could be decomp.
Yeah, who knows? But they were too scared of her to go and remove anything else from the area at that point. They were like, nope, we're not fucking with her again. This is her hay now. Yeah. Getting resources.
I was going to say, she's like, and now I have hay, so...
Sweet.
All right. Next story. While trudging home one day, returning from one of her pilgrimages into the woods, a man named Parmalee had been to the mill and was returning home with a bag of corn. He was on horseback and had the corn slung across the horse's back, and coming up behind her, he yelled out sharply, probably in an asshole manner, "Get out of the way, old woman, I'm in a hurry." And we all know what happens when you piss her off.
Hell yeah.
Not good things. Man, you're screwed.
I'm ready, lay it on
So she
me.
obviously...
Yeah. I gotta hear it.
I want to know. I need to know.
Well, I'll tell you. She obviously was furious and threw herself directly in his path, which made him stop his horse. And she took her walking stick at him viciously in harsh, malignant tones, cried out, "The curses of all furies upon you. I will teach you to be respectful to your elders. Again, I say curses upon you and curses upon your corn, which you will never carry home with you this day. Old Hannah never makes idle boasts. You'll see, rash man, you'll see." Like, egging him on, and I love it.
Love it.
This woman's the best. But so she continued on her way after giving her curse.
I love her so much.
And Parmalee, who is said not to have been superstitious, the curse did make him feel uncomfortable, but decided to start his horse forward again. And he had scarcely gone a road over before the bag of corn slid from his horse's back to the ground. He dismounted, tried getting the corn back up again, and it slid off the other side. And then again, and again, and again, until he finally decided, I'm just going to tie it down to the saddle. Started walking the horse with it tied to the saddle, and then the saddle and the corn fell off of his horse somehow.
Nice.
I love that her curses have this like Looney Tunes quality to them. I love it.
Yes, man. Yes. Well, I was going to say, when we found her name earlier, like, you know, Joe pointed out, and you pointed out that it's a great, like, old lady witch name, but I'm like, I don't know. I can also see it as, like, a cartoon, like a cartoon character name.
From animated.
Like, it definitely has those vibes of just like Looney Tunes-esque like
Oh my
witch,
God, I
and then it's
love
like,
it.
oh,
Yeah.
womp, 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 womp. Yeah, I can see it. It's all there.
Now, as funny as this
Oh my
was,
God.
she wasn't done. He decided to leave the
Oh
corn
God.
up against a fence post and come back for it the next day. And the next day, he was able to get it home and then fed it to his chickens later that night. But he woke up the next morning and all of his chickens were dead.
Who all died?
They all died. So he then threw the corn into the creek behind his house. And it's in this article said that the person who currently lived
That
in
everybody's drinking water comes from.
not their drinking water, their fish.
Men are the worst.
They are. They deserve it.
Fish, okay, but still.
So he threw the corn into the creek behind his house.
What are consequences? Oh.
Those don't exist. Don't worry about that.
Oh God, okay.
Oh my God.
Right.
I'm sorry, Joe. We're done interrupting. Tell us the rest of the curse.
So he threw the corn into the creek behind his house, and it said that to that day in 1900, when this article was posted, the person who lived in the house still had a hard time ever finding or catching fish in that creek. So, like, supposedly he just killed off a whole resource of fish for the village by pissing off Hannah Cranna.
For sure.
Oh my God.
I'm sure if he had went back and apologized, she maybe would have done something about it, but apparently he didn't. So, didn't learn his lesson.
Oh my God.
Well, the best part is he didn't. Hannah Cranna didn't kill the fish in the creek, right? Like, she said, like, bitch, you ain't getting this corn.
Yeah.
And
He
then
chose.
his stubborn ass, he chose to be like, oh, I'm gonna feed it to my chickens, and then the chickens died, and he's like, let's keep pushing this further.
Yeah,
like, at no point I'm gonna stop and self-reflect, because that sounds stupid.
This dude chose violence at every level. Every level.
turn.
I'm still struggling to understand how she's supposedly got this reputation and everyone calls her a witch.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for the love of God, I would be like tiptoeing up to her and be like, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, I love you, what can I do for you? Like, why is everybody so antagonistic towards her?
Where do these men get the fucking audacity, you know?
The theme is, I was gonna say, but the theme of all these stories is that it's like some dude in his prime in this little town who probably thinks he runs shit. Like,
you don't.
A pox on you and all the fish you're trying to catch.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the stories from the article on the 7th, which brings us to the article on the 14th. Yes, there's more. Of course, she's got more chaos to inflict. So it was said one year that there was a drought with no rainfall all summer and fall, and in winter it was suggested by the townspeople that they call upon the powers of Hannah Cranna to help them. And an older man in the village was elected who could, and I quote, be discreet and tactful to request Hannah Cranna use her occult powers to provide the rain. And in my brain, that's saying people are thinking, oh, she's this lonely old widow. She just wants company. Let's send one of the older gentlemen of the village to go woo her for a bit, and he'll get the rain for us. I don't think that's going to fly, man.
Mm-hmm. She killed the last old dude that came near her. Like, she can probably testify, not a great idea.
Yeah, pick a better strategy.
Frickin' rooster her way with a note attached saying,
yes. Send her another chicken.
Just tied around her foot. Yeah.
So, of course, she wasn't fooled by this tactic and was onto him, and with an impatient sniff, informed him they didn't deserve any rain, and that she was perfectly aware they came to her for help because it was necessary and not because one of them voluntarily desired to show confidence in her and her abilities. But she said that she didn't expect the least gratitude for her intercession, but would, notwithstanding, at midnight, cause it to rain. And it did rain at midnight for 3 whole days. So she's smart to know.
Oh, she's like, you want rain?
But she's also smart enough to know she needed rain as well. So I like that she waited until they came and asked
her. Her flower bed is probably dying. Yeah.
Exactly. I need the rain for my flowers, man. I can't go
she's
without
still gonna
them yet.
spin this. She's still gonna try to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So she made it rain for 3 days. Yahoo for them. Next story. Hannah Cranna, with her pride and joy, her large Shanghai rooster named Boreas. It was claimed that all who looked at this rooster would always do a double take as they passed it by because it was just so enticing to look at, which again showed an image. It's very pretty rooster. But it was also said that
sexy rooster.
Sexy rooster. God damn it, Amy.
They're doing a double take. Come on, man. That's a little weird.
Well, it's not going to get good. So, buckle up. It's actually going to get sad. He
oh no.
always crowed at exactly midnight.
They killed the rooster.
They didn't kill him, but he did die. So,
okay.
Cranna is said to have cried only once in her life, and that is when Boreas died. And she buried him in the center of her garden at exactly midnight. And the next morning, Grimalkin was also found dead, laying atop the rooster's grave. She lost both her pets.
This bestie.
Right?
Oh no.
So sad.
Her little familiars were soulmates.
I know. And now she's all alone.
Now she's like alone. Because she didn't want people. She just wanted pets. No, okay.
Not for long.
Not for long because she gets another pet or because she's dead too? Wait a second.
Is this like a pet cemetery situation?
Oh god.
She was only seen alive one more time after this, so she did die.
Oh, not Hannah Cranna!
I mean, she was old.
She might have been super old. Doesn't matter.
I know.
It doesn't matter, Joe.
She was old. Nobody killed her. We're just gonna start off with that. But so she was only seen alive once more, about 3 weeks after Boreas and Grimalkin died. And at that time, she sought out a few of the most prominent men in town, whom she probably had confidence in, because she wanted to ask them to act as a committee to carry out instructions for her burial after her death. So her request was, bury me at sunset, have a sufficient number of bearers to carry me in my coffin from my house to the grave. Do not attempt to take me in any kind of vehicle, but see to you that it is done in the manner I have named. Obey my wishes strictly, if you would avoid trouble and vexation of spirit. For remember, even after I am no more, there will be that which I shall leave behind that will see my wishes in this matter are respected and fulfilled. Veiled threat, dementia, who knows?
Yeah.
But so it's
one last curse just because she's
one
like,
last
I'm not
time to fuck with people. Yeah,
I can't go out without a bang, you guys. I got to do something. So that night, it said after she had spoken with these prominent figures of the community, there was a big snowstorm, and the following morning, Hannah Cranna was found dead. Now, in the article, it says that she was found dead in her bed, which means that someone had to go to her house and check on her. In some other retellings I've seen, it said that she was found like in the road or outside her house in the snow. Don't know where exactly she died, but we also don't know how she died, because it said that the cause of death was never determined, even though a physician supposedly overlooked her body and did not find any evidence of freezing to death, heart disease, or paralysis, which apparently were the main reasons of death in an older woman at the time. I couldn't have been anything else, but it wasn't those three things. So, poor Hannah Cranna has.
I could also see you being the physician and being like,
I don't want to cut this bitch open.
I'm not looking too hard because I don't want residual curse energy.
Yeah.
So I could just see them being like, question mark, get her out of here.
Yeah.
I don't need this in my life. Goodbye. But yes, so she is now gone, and supposedly no one knows how she actually died, but she passed. My guess could have also been a broken heart from her two favorite pets dying. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But so,
up. Yeah,
it's sad. But back to the curse, because of course that's going to come back. So for her burial, though she requested to be carried by bearers and to be buried at sunset, again, there had been a large snowstorm. It was cold. It was winter. It was decided that following her request to a T would be too difficult. So instead, they put her body on a sled.
Oh my god.
Attached to ox that would leave for the burial ground at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so she could be buried at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, to keep people from being out too late in the cold and they didn't have to finish the end of the day chores when it was cold and dark out. And I kind of get the thought process there, but at the same time, this woman's a witch. You all fear her to the point where to keep her from hexing you, you give her food and firewood and shit. I don't know why you're still messing with it. I don't understand. But that was their plan.
And you got no part of it right. Like, you didn't even choose one part.
It wasn't even, we can do this, but not this. Like,
it was like, blow it all up. Fuck it all. We're going to go wrong.
We're just going to do all of it wrong. Yeah.
Because they're fucking assholes.
Because I'm like, couldn't follow it to a T. I'm like, oh man, the technicalities. And then I'm like, oh, this isn't a technicality. This is literally all of it. Like, the entire idea behind it was just like scrapped and been like, we've got a new plan.
Yep, they said sorry, not sorry, and tried not to look back, but they had to, because leaving with her coffin on the sled for a good distance, the road was relatively flat, but about halfway across the plateau, her coffin slid forward off the sled between the two ox. So flat surface, but still off the sled. Doesn't want to be on there. This is not what I asked for. So the men then picked it up, put it back on the sled, and they continued forward, now with multiple of them holding it in place to keep it from falling off the sled again. However, they then came to a large steep hill, and even though many men were holding it in place, it slid off backwards up the hill, defying gravity. So one man suggested they chain the coffin to the sled and have a man sit on top of it. And even though the chains seemed secure and there was a man sitting on top of it, somehow the chains loosened and the coffin, very nicely with a man sitting on top of it, instead of flying off the back, lifted itself off to the ground and then just started sliding backwards up the hill. She was very mindful of that poor young man sitting on her coffin because they just thought, this will stop it.
I wonder at what point it wouldn't have been easier to just do what she wanted.
Because there's enough of them there's enough of them to hold it on the sled. Just pick it up and walk it.
And just pick it up.
Exactly. So it took until this second round of sliding back up the hill for them to decide, okay, that's enough. We're not going to mess with this anymore. We're going to take her back to her house. And we're going to start again around 5 in the afternoon. And they started the trek again about an hour before sunset. And they followed her requests now. They had 6 men that carried her all the way to the burial ground and buried her at sunset. Right? Like, this is all we asked. I don't know why it was so hard for you to follow. You wasted more of your own time. Good Lord. So they buried her at sunset as she requested. And it said that as they lowered her body into the grave, the horizon lit up with a brilliant light, which soon dissipated. And they went home and went to bed. But later that evening, they awoke to the cry of fire and found Hannah's house was set ablaze. And they left that cliffhanger until the article on the 21st. So they made people wait. Got to appreciate right there.
Wow, they suck.
We don't have to wait. Other people did. So I'm glad I didn't live in 1900 for this and many other reasons. But
luckily.
So continuing in the article on the 21st, the story of the fire is continued, and it said that she came back in spirit to set her own house on fire. And attempts were made to put it out, but the well on her property that only hours before had water in it for them to give the oxen they attempted to take her to the burial ground with, the well was now dry. So there was no water. They couldn't do anything but sort of stand around and watch it as it burned down. And as it burned down to ashes, they all went back home. There's nothing else they could do. But then A few hours later, the blaze grew again and the house reappeared almost intact, though there were some burns to the doors and windows and melted glass, but otherwise everything was sound. And it happened again the following night. House burned, no water to be found, then the fire started again, and it all came back. So the summer after her death, some said they saw her ghost drawing water up from the well to water her flowers at midnight, because of course she loves her flowers. But they investigated the well later and found that it was still dry. So supposedly her ghost was there, supposedly ghostily watering her flowers. You know, to each their own in their afterlife. If that's what she found peaceful, more power to her. But it said that the last sighting of her ghost was during the Civil War era, when she was seen riding a white horse across the hills, her long black hair flowing in the wind as she disappeared into the distance as darkness fell. Why during the Civil War era? Why on a white horse?
Sick.
When she's never been seen on a horse before, as far as we can tell. We don't
Why
know.
all of a sudden?
Yeah, I don't know. But that's how they ended the article on the 21st.
That's crazy.
And then on the 28th, we have the lovely little letter to the editor. And I'm going to read it word for word for you. Because it's just, again, was in the article right underneath someone's obit. And it's just weird. So, it is a pity that the author of the well-written story of Hannah Cranna had not collected more items. All the old people, how few alas are left, have been rubbing up their memories and bringing to light reminiscence long since buried. The writer did not tell all of the Housatonics Railroad story. When she stood on the crag and cursed the train, a section of the track sank down not far from the crag, if your correspondent remembers right, and the train, on reaching Bridgeport, instead of stopping, ran off the rails, smashing into a pile of wood. A man broke his leg and has been sick ever since. Another story, told by an aged member of my family as a positive fact, that the farmers' wives would sometimes have trouble when making soft soap. It would not come to soft inside of all they could do. Soon after, Hannah would come up round and inquire about soap. She would then descend to the cellar, roll up her sleeve, putting her arm in, stir the soap around, and lo, it would immediately be beautiful soap. So, first off, you're telling us that she caused an entire train crash that nobody else seems to remember.
Yeah.
Just, okay.
Wild.
Doesn't seem like there's a method to the madness with that story, and it seems like all the others, there was a method to the madness, so I'm not following. And then soap. Soap. She could have just been really good at making soap.
My favorite thing about that, like especially if it is magical soap, is like all these men fucking around and finding out, and she's just like, "Oh, the wives need help? Sure,
Yeah,
I'm there.
I'm there.
Let me
I'm
just
there.
head down to the cellar. It'll be 2 minutes. Don't worry about it."
So that is all of the stories from those articles about Hannah Cranna. I did see a couple other stories here and there. There was one talked about in Sinisterhood. That's what they're called. It's another podcast. They did tell a story about like a baker woman who supposedly gave her the smallest pie that she had, and Hannah cursed her for that, and she never baked a pie again. Again, I don't know that that story holds any merit because she seemed to have a method to her madness, but that's another one. There's just all sorts of random little stories out there about Hannah Cranna's supposed dealings as a witch. But this then begs the question, we have newspaper articles from 1900. Witch trials were in the 1600s. So what actual evidence do we have of Hannah Cranna? Well, according to the Brom Bones Books blog, which I fucking love that name. Love it. They say that we know three things. I kind of count them as two, but they counted them as three. First, that we know she was a real person, born in 1783, 113 years after the Witch Panic of Connecticut. So the storyline that people usually give of her just missing these witch trials or never being put on trial in Connecticut, she wasn't even fucking alive.
Yeah, I mean, her grandparents weren't even fucking alive. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, bit of an overstatement, but we do know she was a real person because we do have her year of birth. How do we have this year of birth? We have a gravestone to confirm her existence. So the grave is located in a cemetery in Trumbull, Connecticut, in the Gregory's Four Corners burial ground. And Hannah's grave sits on the edge of the embankment near the road. It seems to look newer than it should at first glance, and looks kind of out of place. Because it's so close to this embankment, people kind of wonder, why was it placed there? Seems like a weird place to bury somebody, but okay. Could have looked different when she was buried. But the top of the stone is typically covered in different little tokens that are left behind by people who visit the grave. Trinkets and flowers are also left to adorn the base of the headstone. And rumor has it that if you leave a gift to appease Hannah's spirit, she will grant you the good fortune you desire and not follow you home. I don't know whose dog that was, but it wasn't mine. Oh my gosh.
That was, I think, Amy's.
That was wild.
No, I love the idea that you can just like walk up to her gravestone and leave her like a little trinket and be like, yes, please give me your good lucks.
So you guys can go ahead and go to the next set of images.
Yeah.
And these images include a signpost that is actually right next to her grave that shows the area of that burial ground and marks it. Also shows an image of her grave. And I also included a little map because we've been talking a lot about Stepney, and this gravesite is in Trumbull, but it was said that she was the witch of Monroe, and I was like, I don't understand how that all fits together. And so I pulled this map up to look at it, and looking at it, you can see all three of them in the image. And I immediately went to my thoughts of like us living in Arizona, where like greater Phoenix area, you can get like Phoenix and Glendale all in the same place, but it's still a distance between each. There's like a 14-minute drive, and not even on a freeway, between Stepney and between Trumbull and Monroe. And Stepney's like in between them. Like they are not far apart.
Okay. Yeah.
So it all makes a little bit more sense there.
Yeah. Pretty close.
Pretty short distance.
Which I first looked at that and went, oh, I don't understand any of this. It all looks so far apart. How did
But yeah, you're right, Joe. Looking at this image, this headstone looks like completely isolated. Like it's just some little hill in a neighborhood all by itself is what it looks like from this image. So apparently they truly believe that she's a witch. Like they tried to keep her away from the rest of the cemetery.
Which could be why they were willing to like go that 14-minute route.
Yeah,
we want to just make sure she's real far
away, right?
But here's the other piece about her gravestone, which is like the third thing that they put in here along with her husband's death, is that the gravestone reads Hannah Cranna, 1783, 1859 to 60. They're not sure exactly when she died, and was the wife of Captain Joseph Hovey. So she wasn't married to a Silas Cranna, as stated in the articles, but to a Joseph Hovey. Which then brings about the question of where does Cranna actually come from? And there's a couple of theories here. One of them is that it could have been her maiden name. Cranna is a version of essentially saying cliff for like Gaelic and Scottish. So that could make sense. Others attribute Cranna to her picking it up from the death of her husband falling off the cliff. And in this blog post, they did say more of that her husband's death was odd and that he fell off the cliff, not that she pushed him like the news articles state. So again, who knows how her husband died? We didn't even have the right name in the articles, but supposedly she did have a husband. And I did actually go on Ancestry.com and I did search for more evidence of a Hannah Cranna in that time frame of when she was born and when she supposedly died. And I couldn't get images of them because I don't have a paid subscription with Ancestry, but I could see the images myself, and I can see a Hannah Cranna or a Hannah Hovey on birth, death, and marriage records that we have evidence of. So there's no children, but we do know that she existed from these. I also could not find any record of where her house actually was or of a Helvellyn Hill in Connecticut. There is a Helvellyn Hill in England, and it's a pretty popular hiking destination, but not in Connecticut. So my best guess is maybe if her home did exist, there was a Helvellyn Hill and they just renamed it to something, and we don't have record of what it was renamed to figure out where it actually was.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of iffy. We do have some evidence that matches records and evidence, and then we have some stuff that doesn't quite match up as well, but it seems like she may have been a real person. And if you go to the next set of images,
Nice.
Amy was actually fairly right that her gravesite is really just sort of like set apart from everything else. This supposed burial ground has a sign and has her gravestone, and I can't find any other images that show more gravestones. It might just be hers, and this is supposedly a burial ground, but you can see in like the overview from Google, there's like an Amazon warehouse, there's like a sports center, like it's just randomly there and no one's touched it for years other than to come and see Hannah Cranna's grave. So it's just smack dab in the middle of a neighborhood somewhere.
Crazy.
Leave it to New England, I guess, you know?
Like, I love that. I love that. Like, they're still like, oh, don't fuck with the grave. Like, I don't care what you build around it. Don't fuck with the grave.
Yeah, don't fuck with Hannah Cranna, guys.
Yeah. This one you cannot touch.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that does not leave us with a lot in terms of, like, a walking tour, places to visit, other than her grave. There are some things to do in the area in Connecticut for, like, doing spooky things, usually around Halloween. There is a website called cthauntedhouses.com, which is sort of a posting of various different things you can do, like a harvest fair or a haunted trail sort of storybook park area. Just some fun things for those in the Connecticut area if you're looking for something spooky to do. Again, I think they're mostly around Halloween and in the fall, but if you're there at that time, could be something to look into. Because the only other thing I got for you is Hannah Cranna's grave.
Nice.
That's it. So, begs the question, do you guys think Hannah Cranna was a real person, and do you think there's any merit to these stories?
I think with the gravestone and stuff, like, you can totally see a real person. In my heart of hearts, I want to believe all of the stories.
Everyone.
In reality, I'm sure she was just a loud, like, grouchy woman who played up any misfortune to be like, I did that. You should fear me. I called that. You heard me. Anyway, give me your fire. And you know what? I respect her either way.
Completely.
I am with Amber. I so want her to be a real witch, but she was probably just a cranky, old, irritated woman that just smartly took credit for anything bad or good happening and saying, look, you can be my friend or my foe. It's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why she is my new hero. I fucking love her.
Main character season 2.
I know. I so wish you had found an image of her so we could legit make t-shirts of her.
I know.
Oh, hell yeah.
Would have been so cool. Unfortunately, cameras didn't exist.
I think we could. I think we can make something up. I think we can figure this out.
We got it. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
I just want like a picture of an old witch lady with like a rooster and a cat, and the shirt is just chilling with my squad or something like that. Like, just.
But it's got to be a little cat with this little like.
No, I do have lots of ideas. Like, she gives me.
It's got to be like the Grimalkin.
Yes. Very fancy rooster.
Love it.
Yes.
Although that character was very slim, and our Grimalkin is supposedly a very robust kitty.
We could fatten him up.
We'll give the drawing a little kitty belly. Yeah.
Little muffin top over his pants.
Love it.
Oh yeah.
All right, and so with that, we end the story of Hannah Cranna. And once again, I'm Joe.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Amy.
And this has been Murderous, Mysterious, and Macabre. If you like this episode, please consider reviewing and sharing our show. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like what we do and want to help us cover more murderous, mysterious, and macabre places, you can join our Patreon linked in the comments below. And that's it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Curse on you who watches this podcast. Oh, wait, no, wrong one. Blessings.
There you go.
Blessings. A curse on whoever doesn't watch it.
That's the one. That's the one.
That's a lot of curses, I think, guys.
I might not have the energy for all that. That's fine. That's fine.